Welcome to Mazingira Day today, a special show with none other than Betty. This is Friday with Betty. My name is Monique Magaria, and they've given me the chance to say good morning. Oh, sorry, good evening.
All right, good morning, good evening. We say hi to everybody tonight. How are you?
I'm fine,
Great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness, you look better in person.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen you so many times, but today I don't know, there's this aura that you have tonight.
Well, I've lost some weight, so maybe that's...
Oh, that looks good. What is it? What have you been on? The treadmill or what?
No. 1 meal a day. And sometimes intermittent fasting. So.
Oh, really? That's great. I'm happy. You look great.
Thank you.
Say hi to the lovely audience. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm so excited because this is one of the best, film mavens we have in the country. Plus, of course, Foods of Kenya.
Oh, yes. That would be very popular.
I wonder why. I wonder how you eat those things. Some of the things, man, you've eaten.
But they're eaten by the people who live there.
Yeah.
So if the people there eat them, why not me?
So let me ask you something just before you get the highlights. Like, what is the craziest thing you've ever had to eat?
Yes. No, just outside Barkatuni.
Barkatuni.
No, Cabernet. It was Cabernet, actually. It was Cabernet.
Yeah.
They gave me raw intestine. Raw intestine. Do you know the towel one? The towel one?
Yeah, matumbo.
Raw. They just slaughtered the goat. It was the raw, and it still had the
things in the
bile, the grass, and they said all special guests must eat that. My mouth was smelling of goat for like 3 days.
Maybe that's what he needs to credit to the weight loss. But you know what? I'm so happy to have you here. I know that so many of your fans are going to be watching, including my mom, who loves your shows, and
hi, Mom.
all the CWA members. All right, so let's take us to the highlights.
Oh, the highlights.
Yeah, so we can begin the news. Just say, let's...
And so, these are the highlights.
All right, let's go. President William Ruto meets Gideon Moi at Moi's Kabarak farm for a private discussion. The president also laid a wreath at the mausoleum of the late President Daniel Arap Moi. Kenyans mark Mazingira Day by taking part in countrywide tree planting initiatives aimed at promoting environmental conservation. Professor Egara Kabaji has been formally installed as the first Chancellor of Mount Kigali University a decade after the institution was founded. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us, and happy Mazingira Day to you. I hope that you enjoyed the day with your family, friends, and that you're ready for a fantastic show tonight. Of course, we have the top stories, but our sign language interpreter who's going to sail us through the show tonight is Catherine Simaloy. Let's begin with the top stories. And tension is palpable at Chuda Water Sports in Mombasa after a boat capsized this evening during the ongoing East Africa Ocean Festival competitions. Now, as Quinto Wafula reports, 19 people have been rescued while the fate of 3 others remains uncertain.
Families are in distress as they flock to the scene seeking information about their loved ones.
This is very painful.
Mashindano ilikuwa imekuwa sponsored na nani? Ndio tunataka kujua. Na kwa nini hakupeana watoto life jacket?
This evening, during the East Africa Ocean Festival competitions, a boat carrying 22 participants reportedly capsized, leaving 3 people still missing.
The management, the safety the safety measures and then we want to know the event ilikuwa imeorganizwa na nani? Who hold that event? And probably the last thing, we need them alive. Wamekufa maji. Saizi mnaungwana hiyo. Jamaa tujua sasa watoto hajui. Ndio wanatuambiwa saizi watoto wamekufa baharini.
Some participants have decried the lack of adequate rescue measures by the event organizers, saying their calls for help went unanswered.
This was just like 3, 5 meters, 7, 10 meters away from hii gath yenye inaingia baharini. ingekuwa si wangezitupa baharini, those wenye wanakufa waone life savers zao ndio zile. Mbona hakufanya hata their response to that incident?
Families of the affected are now demanding access to the footage of the event to understand what led to the tragic incident.
Kuna venye watu watakuja kuchukua watoto kutoka kwa mtaa ya mabanda. Hakuna venye watu watakuja kuchukua watoto kutoka kwa Bangladesh. Wakuja wakufe town Chuda.
Officials say rescue operations are still ongoing and have urged families to remain calm as the search continues.
Kuna wengine bado hatujawaona, watatusaidia ili waweze kufanya hatua ya kuweza kuokoa ambao watakuwa wamebaki kwenye maji.
Time tunafanya first aid na wale wengine wanafanywa trauma support. Wale vijana ambao walikuwa wana participate na hii event wakaja wakatupigia, unaona hiyo ambulance pale nyuma tumepigiwa mawe, wametuvunjia, na pale by the time wakifanya hiyo, huyo mgonjwa pale ndani ndio walikuwa tunakumshughulikia.
Kinto Wafula, TV 47, Mombasa.
Well, Paul, sana to the families that have been affected. Now, President William Ruto has hinted at formalizing an agreement between the long-standing political party KANU, led by Gideon Moi, and his ruling party UDA. Now, after intense consultations, Ruto visited residents of the Moi family in Kabarnet, seeking to safeguard his interests and avoid future political repercussions. Paul Kirobi tells us more.
Just a day after former Baringo Senator Gideon Moi withdrew from the upcoming senatorial by-election, President William Ruto made a politically symbolic visit to Kabarnet, a key stronghold of the Moi family. While addressing residents, the president revealed plans to formalize KANU's inclusion in the broad-based government, the president adding that the goal is to promote national unity and bring all leaders on board, regardless of their past affiliations.
Mimi nataka tukubaliane na nyinyi, mkubali ili sasa tuwe na formal engagement kati ya KANU, si ndio? Ili KANU sasa iwe part of the government of Kenya.
Tuko tayari kama watu wa chama cha KANU to have what we call formal engagement ya kufanya kazi pamoja na wewe, pamoja na chama chako, na mipango ya kuendelea mbele tuko na wewe.
And in a show of unity, Gideon Moi hinted at working closely with President Ruto, a move that could see him feature prominently in the broad-based arrangement if the alliance is formalized. The political compromise now coming at a cost. Moi's decision to step aside from the Baringo senatorial race has cleared the path for UDA candidate Vincent Cheburet Kimitei to run in the by-election unchallenged by major opposition.
Amokchini chemiach kimi tuki matar kimi barabara chi otonon kimi chuba dam kimi tuku kap pokwangut ale kanawa atemis Abi George Baringo. Kulenjon kekololi kulenjon choto tugul kemwa ayayane.
This, as observers say, the arrangement benefits both leaders. President Ruto avoids internal political friction in the Rift Valley, while Gideon positions himself within government structures without risking an electoral defeat. During the event, Ruto also reaffirmed his administration's development agenda for the region, citing plans to reconstruct a stadium in Kabarnet and roll out more government projects. He defended his economic track record, noting that the Kenyan shilling had recently strengthened to 129 against the dollar. Today's visit was not just about development, with some seeing it as a calculated political move to cement a decades-old relationship between the Moi and Ruto's camps, one that stretches back to the era of the late President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. Paul Kirobi, TV 47.
All right, now tonight, opposition alliance leaders have vowed to close ranks in their quest to remove President William Ruto from power. Now, in a show of solidarity at the Wiper Patriotic Front National Delegates Convention, the leaders promised their supporters that they will set aside individual ambitions for the sake of the country. Apollo Kamau reports.
Buffalo soldier, dread like a rasta.
In a show of unity at the historic Uhuru Park grounds, opposition leaders cast their differences aside and resolved to unite during the Wiper Patriotic Front National Delegates Convention, throwing their weight behind Kalonzo Musyoka should he emerge as the opposition's flag bearer ahead of the 2027 polls.
Huyu William Ruto anadharau huyu Kalonzo, anamuita mtu ya dengu. Mimi nikuambie Ruto na watu yako, huyu Kalonzo huyu unadharau huyu. This Kalonzo Musyoka is a critical factor in what will happen in 2027.
Hapa pahala tulipokaa ni pahala pa historia. Ninyi wana Wiper mmechagua pahala pa historia, na siku ya leo historia inaandikwa Kenya hii ya kwamba serikali mpya ijayo iko Uhuru Park, iko inaundwa siku ya leo.
When we sit together, and should the united opposition, Your Excellency, decide that you will be the candidate, I will support you. We will support you.
Ruto ordered you to be shot not in the head but in the legs because you dared to exercise your constitutional rights. I urge you, fellow Kenyans, and the Gen Zs, and the young Kenyans, I urge you today to shoot Ruto at the ballot.
During the Wiper NDC Camp Political Rally, which saw delegates endorse Kalonzo as a Wiper presidential candidate, opposition leaders took turns telling off President Ruto, accusing him of attempting to weaken the opposition and failing Kenyans through poor leadership.
Wewe Ruto, kama uko na haja na Kalonzo, ukuje uone Rigiji family spokesman. Zindio. Na sitakuonea Nairobi, nitakuonea Wamonyoro.
We have only one enemy, the oppressor and those behind him. And I will not utter the name. I can only use the popular name Kasongo and everything Kasongo represents.
Ati hawa wako kwa upinzani ni wa kabila. Lakini leo hii amechukua jege ya jeshi, akakimbia pale, akaruka pale Kabarak. Akakutana na rafiki yangu moja ambaye ni rafiki ya pia Mheshimiwa Kalonzo, anaitwa Gideon Moi.
The return of a united opposition, despite internal differences, has allayed fears among supporters, particularly those from the Matiang'i, Kalonzo and Gachagua camps, signaling a renewed sense of purpose ahead of the 2027 contest.
The coming together of opposition leaders is meant to bolster the opposition base in the race to defeat President William Ruto in the 2027 poll. Apol Kamau, TV47, at Uhuru Park in Nairobi.
Now, a sting operation has led to the arrest of 4 suspects believed to be part of a high-profile drug trafficking network operating through Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Now, TV47 has established that the suspects were apprehended in coordinated operations across Mombasa and Nairobi earlier this month. Our reporter Sydney Chezima has the exclusive details.
Rishad Abdullahi Sheikh, Haji Nur Yusuf Mohammed, Muammar Mutua Mohammed, and Adam Omari will now be guests of the state under strict surveillance until the 29th of October, when they will appear in court to answer for their high-profile crime, drug trafficking. The 4 suspects' profiles were little known until a recent media expose highlighted their links to a secretive ring of drug dealers running their trade through Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. The authorities say they had been hot on their trail for months, waiting for the right moment to strike, which came on October 5th and 6th investigators carried out a multi-pronged operation. In Mombasa, Sheikh and Haji Noor were arrested at the Nyali Center Mall, while another unit tracked down Muammar and Adam in Utawala, Nairobi, and apprehended them in separate coordinated raids. From the two operations, investigators recovered 750 grams of cocaine with a street value of close to 3 million shillings. Even more striking is how the drugs were hidden. Slim tea packages, normally associated with a harmless cup of caffeine, were used to smuggle something far stronger: cocaine. Authorities say the 4 suspects are tied to an international drug network, which includes a British national, Jesse Damata dos Santos, who was recently arrested in London with a staggering 20 kilograms of cocaine. All 4 were arraigned at the JKIA Law Courts before Magistrate Njeri Thuku on October 7th, with police granted 13 days to continue investigations. Sources within the country's security apparatus say that the details of where the 4 are being held, as well as the investigation officers, cannot be revealed due to sensitive nature of the matter. Sydney Chazema, TV47.
Thanks, Sydney, for that. Now, the family of Kenyan activist Nicholas Oyo, who was abducted in Uganda alongside Bob Njagi, is demanding their immediate release. Now, the 2 human rights defenders were reportedly taken in Kampala on October 1st. Oyo's family now wants the Kenyan government to pressure Ugandan authorities for their safe return, insisting the men committed no crime. Samira Mohammed with the details.
It has been very difficult. Very, very difficult.
The anguish of a grieving mother. The heart-wrenching cry of a woman shattered by a missing son who was abducted in Uganda, allegedly by uniformed men believed to be police officers. An incident that has left this family ripped apart.
It is not easy. It's difficult. It's very difficult. Every morning you wake up, sometimes even sleeping, you can't sleep well. You just, did he come back? You wake up and look.
Full of agony, Oyo's mother recounts the night her 4th-born son left Kenya for Uganda, not knowing what awaits him.
I found Nicholas had prepared everything to go to Uganda. He was only waiting for Bob, Njagi, and the other person so that they can travel to Uganda. So me, I told him, Nick, I'm very tired. I think I'm going to sleep.
This as she calls on the Kenyan government to engage with Ugandan authorities to secure the release of Njagi and Oyo. The family of the Kenyan activist has also called for the immediate release and safe return of the 2 Kenyan human rights defenders who were reportedly abducted in Kampala, Uganda on the 1st of October 2025.
I would ask them to sympathize with me and release my son and also release Bob, because from what I'm hearing, Bob's mom is admitted in hospital and her health is even deteriorating, and they should release them because I don't see anything wrong they have done in Uganda.
According to Oyo's family, their effort to seek help from the Kenyan authorities has borne no fruits as 10 days later, they're yet to receive any solid communication from the Kenyan government.
Up to today, we still don't have any proper feedback.
Samira Mohammed for TV47, Nairobi.
All right, now, of course, we move on to other top stories of the night. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, it is Mazingira Day today, or it was just a few hours, and it's going to be over. At least we had a nice holiday. I hope you had a fantastic holiday at home and planted trees. Now, Kenyans have been urged to plant more trees to conserve the environment. Now, the call came as citizens gathered in different parts of the country to mark Mazingira Day through tree planting and other environmental conservation activities. Chichi Josephine reports.
Tree planting activities took place across the country in commemoration of Mazingira Day, a national effort to promote environmental conservation and climate resilience. In Narok County, Principal Administrative Secretary in the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Madam Juliana Yapan, led members of the public and pupils in planting 1,000 tree seedlings at Sankale Primary School.
Hata nyumbani tuweze kupanda miti mashuleni na popote ambapo tunaweza. Kwa hivyo hiyo ndio lengo langu la leo.
Meanwhile, in Homa Bay County, Principal Secretary for Interior and National Administration, Dr. Raymond Omolo, reaffirmed the government's commitment to making greening Kenya a top national priority.
Kila Friday ya every month, na ilikuwa tarehe 3, tuko na Chiefs Climate Action Day. Ndio tushughulikie mambo ya kupanda miti.
In Transmara West, Principal Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife John Olotua called on hospitality establishments across the country to allocate space for tree planting as part of the ongoing One Tourist, One Tree initiative.
And the purpose is that every tourist who visits Kenya, either to our hotels, to our national parks, our national reserves, and every other place that they go, they have been encouraged to be able to plant tree.
In Tana River County, alumni and students of Mau Mau Girls Secondary School gathered not in sorrow, but in hope, planting trees to honor Kenya's heroines, including Professor Wangari Maathai, Other Grace Ogot, and politician Ore Rogo Manduli.
We want to turn historical scars into roots, so that into roots of renewal, so that we can be able to preserve for future generations.
Wengine wamepanda miti imepewa majina ya wengine kama kina Professor Wangari Maathai.
Chichi, Josephine, TV 47.
Thanks, Chichi. Now, President William Ruto has reaffirmed the government's plan to plant 15 billion trees, 15 billion that is, by 2032. Now, speaking at State House, Nairobi during Mazingira Day tree planting event that also brought together pupils from State House Primary, the president outlined measures already in place to drive the initiative. Well, this report has been produced by Fatima Suleiman.
As the country marked Mazingira Day today, President William Ruto led a symbolic tree planting exercise at State House, Nairobi. The event, attended by pupils from State House Primary School, highlighted the government's commitment to environmental conservation. This as President Ruto announced that the government will supply 2 billion tree seedlings annually to help meet the target of planting 15 billion trees over the next 7 years. The president added that the Kenya Forest Service will work alongside the National Youth Service to deploy 15,000 officers across the country. Their role will be to expand seedling nurseries in public forests and increase access to tree planting resources.
Kabla ya mwaka wa 2032 katika taifa letu la Kenya tuwe tumepanda miti bilioni 15. This exercise of planting trees is connected directly to food production in Kenya.
Meanwhile, Environmental Cabinet Secretary Deborah Barasa presided over a similar exercise in Trans Nzoia County. She confirmed that the government has allocated funds for tree conservation programs in at least 10 counties.
USD 262 million for conservation of 10 counties, and we will start with Trans Nzoia.
Now, Professor Gaira Kabaji has been installed as the first Chancellor of Mount Kigali University 10 years since its inception. Kabaji will serve a 4-year term. The installation ceremony, graced by dignitaries, professors and scholars, including University Board of Governance Chair Professor Simon Gisharu, highlighted the need for quality education. Professor Kabaji promised to steer the university to greater heights and position it amongst the best in Eastern Central Africa.
Vision is to see this university taking its place as a top university in the world. I'm looking at a situation where this university is well known for not just for a teaching university, I'm interested in a university well known for research, community service, and dissemination of knowledge. Maybe just to get you into the picture, Africa contributes just about 3% of knowledge generated and disseminated in the whole world. Partly because there isn't much of research and publication going on in Africa. And so I would like to see this university positioned as a generator of knowledge and a generator of not only just knowledge, but ideas for development of the country and the region and the whole world.
All right, a big congratulations to him. Of course, he's going to be heading Mount Kigali University in Rwanda. Now, moving on, the 8th Construction Networking Forum in Nairobi has put a spotlight on the urgent need for collaboration in Kenya's affordable housing sector. Now, the gathering brought together key players from industry and government, with Housing Principal Secretary Charles Ahinga reaffirming government's commitment to the program, highlighting its role in job creation, economic growth, and dignified housing.
Bury your head in the sand and say we have no problem, when 7 million Kenyans tomorrow morning are going to wake up in a slum. 7 million Kenyans. And yet, we the people said that by the year 2030, we want to build a nation where we are going to have a high quality of life. How can there be a high quality of life when 7 million hard-working Kenyans wake up in a slum where they have no toilet? In fact, they pay to use a toilet.
As Kenya celebrates Mazingira Day, research reveals that planting of trees is key in preventing heat waves, especially at a time when there is increasing frequency, intensity, and duration of health driven by climate change, which poses a growing public health threat worldwide. Elizabeth Teno now reports.
Trees and plants have a natural cooling effect on the environment, providing shade. This plays a crucial role in preventing heat waves. In 2020 and 2024, Kenya experienced extremely hot weather, especially in Nairobi, where temperatures rose to between 29 and 31 degrees Celsius, about 6 degrees Celsius higher than the average. Typically, Nairobi's temperatures range between 24 to 25 degrees Celsius on the higher side and 17 to 18 degrees Celsius on the lower side. This unusual heat posed a significant risk to the health of Kenyans.
You might even end up getting some of the dangerous UV rays, which could be lethal to the skin. You have heard about issues like skin cancer and so on. When the temperatures are high, the way the body reacts is that the blood comes closer to the skin when the temperatures are high.
Kenya is not the only affected country. Across Africa, the annual average temperature has been rising at 0.13 degrees Celsius per decade since 1910. However, the rate has more than doubled to 0.28 degrees Celsius per decade since 1981. Heat waves across the continent are now expected to increase in frequency, intensity, and duration, largely attributed to greenhouse gas emissions and changes in land use.
And heat stress can bring a lot of issues. Like if you look around, there are some areas where you see even insects are affected.
Globally, around 29.9 million deaths between 1991 and 2016 have been linked to heat-related causes. A recent study by the World Health Organization shows that heat waves are responsible for an average 12,000 deaths per year in Africa, a number projected to rise as surface temperatures continue to increase. The health burden is expected to worsen if climate conditions remain unchanged.
Particularly those people who I don't know, you say obesity or something like that, people who are overweight, people who have a case of high blood pressure, asthma, cardiovascular problems, then it means that when the temperatures rise, they can exacerbate those conditions.
Heat waves can be mitigated by planting trees. This highlights the importance of tree planting initiative. As part of its climate action strategy, Kenya now observes a public holiday every 10th day of October dedicated to planting trees. The country aims to grow 15 billion trees by the year 2032, increasing the national tree cover, which currently stands at 16%. This initiative is seen as instrumental in protecting water catchment areas, ensuring sufficient water for agriculture, boosting food security, and promoting overall environmental health. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47, Nairobi.
All right, time for some sporting action. Harambee Stars jetted back into the country on Friday evening, fresh from the impressive 1-0 victory over Burundi in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Now, the win secured in Bujumbura has boosted national morale as the team gears up for their next big challenge, an away clash against the African champions Ivory Coast next week. Now, meanwhile, in another qualifier match held at Kasarani Stadium, Gabon edged out the Gambia 4-3 in a thrilling encounter. Environment Day celebrations were marked with vibrant sporting activities that brought together citizens from various regions. Now, in Nairobi County, Moulem Creek School led the way, organizing races and football matches alongside a tree planting exercise to mark the occasion. Now, during the event, young people were encouraged to use their talents not only to promote physical fitness, but also to drive positive change by caring for and protecting their environment.
Very beneficial to not just as a hobby, it influences your life positively, it exercises your brain, it helps you think better and be able to make more confident and thought out decisions.
What today we are doing, we are checkmating for climate. So we have had a merging of chess and the climate. So we have had tree planting to checkmate for the climate and conserving the environment.
Also, we had chess for climate, where our learners from different schools they came together to participate, and also other event that was happening in the ground.
There's running, kids are running. There's 100 meters running. Kids, force kids, they are going for shorter races.
The kids having fun with the face painting, with the way they were running, and actually, the kids are playing chess. And during our days, you could only hear about chess from grown-ups. I mean, in our schools, we never had any mention of Scrabble or chess. And right now, I've seen kids as young as 7, 8 years playing chess. It gives a kid life skills, a critical thinking at a very young age.
Haya, sasa masaa ya michezo imeisha, masaa ya news imeisha, sasa masaa ya kwa too serious imeisha. But of course, a big thank you to all our brilliant reporters across the country who made that bulletin possible. Sasa saizi tunaingia maneno ya furahi day, na leo najua leo mmejienjoy. Yani it's been a holiday, kesho pia ni Saturday, then kuna Sunday. Mmechafuliwa manze. But I hope you enjoy the show. Of course, good things are coming. We have the one and only Mwaniki Mugeria here in studio. Najua get in the kitchen, najua of course foods of Kenya na stories za Riverwood. Yani there's a lot to talk about with him. Of course, he's an inspiration to so many, including me. I know he doesn't know it. Yeah, well, thank you. And so many of us is going to be joining us, but also Willis Ochieng, the word master. Kwanza leo niko na zile zimenisumbua nikisoma news. Willis, I hope you're watching. Looking forward to our segment. Well, we're coming back shortly. Msiende mbali.